Yo.
What up?
Would you call this podcast? It's like we do it every 16 weeks or something.
It's every so often.
I'm not gonna front though. I don't be minding it because sometimes niggas they just be having podcasts to talk about nothing.
You know what? But if it's consistent, nothing doesn't that make it something? Welcome back, y'all.
I had a recent revelation, right?
Okay. We got a revelation even before the intro.
About podcasts though.
Yes.
Is I realized I'm like, I spend 6 hours a week listening to Joe Budden, or I have, right?
In the past.
I still do.
Yeah.
Like if they're talking about some shit I care about, I guess I could listen up to 6 hours a week listening to that shit. And I was like, wait a minute, an audiobook is 6 hours too.
Like total?
Yes.
Oh, not Harry Potter.
Oh, damn.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'll be reading them books.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Harry Potter audiobook is like 4.5 days.
What?
No, it's like 40 hours.
You dead ass.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like 900 pages.
Yo, that's why.
And how do you switch between all of the character voices without, you gotta take your time with it.
Damn. I'm not at that level of
You said
audiobook.
it's a 6-hour audiobook.
No, but I'm saying like the audiobooks I've been tapping in with. But when I realized that shit, I was like, yo, this is kind of wild.
It's like you get to choose how you use your hours. And now you're not spending them on Joe Budden anymore.
I'll still be over there.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I had to diversify my time.
Makes sense. Welcome back, y'all, to episode 7 of Stay Silent Public Radio.
This is episode 7 because we've done episode 7 a few times. They've just never made it to y'all.
Yeah. What happened? Omicron hit.
Yeah.
Then it was winter.
Had to sit down for a little bit.
Then it was 2022.
Hey,
so,
I feel like we like to at least come with it fresh. Like by the time it was gonna be out, it was like,
I bought this in November. Yeah. It's not fly anymore. Also, note that I'm Sabrina, and this is Jay.
Hey, thank you.
I'm my humble and gracious friends, co-host, highly favored.
Oh my God!
If you don't listen to the Joe Budden podcast, that made no sense to you, but.
He started doing that more recently.
No.
In the when I said recently, a few years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Or no, it was the outro that he does. Like he has an outro.
I don't remember. I don't ever listen to that part.
I'm not gonna front. I be skipping over the sleepers. They be bad. They be bad.
What's your sleeper?
If I had to play one
an R&B sleeper right now.
Does it have to be R&B?
Isn't it usually R&B for them?
No.
It used to be.
Maybe.
What is it now? I got mine.
Well, a song that I've really been I played this song this morning is Surface Happy.
I don't know what that is. You might say I'm sleeping on it.
It's a classic record. You might know the sample from Coogee Rap and Nas. Like if you hear it, I don't know.
So can it be a sleeper if it's old?
That's how they do it. They be playing old ass music.
Oh, okay, all right, word. I was gonna say mine's Destin Conrad. In the Air.
Nice. Maybe I'm just like the old nigga on the podcast. Like how it's it's like Parks or fucking what's his name Ish. Like they just be playing the music just be old. It just be like you don't notice just because it's old.
Got it.
So it's being resurfaced.
No, it didn't.
Isn't Destin Conrad going on tour?
Yeah. Is it Destin or Dustin? It's Destin. Yeah, you've
Is that the nigga real name?
Jay.
I'm just asking.
Yes, Destin Conrad. Destin isn't a bad name.
What is he though?
I don't know.
Oh.
But he's going on tour with Sid.
That's gonna be fly.
They're coming to Boston. Whoop whoop.
I feel that.
Not the whoop whoop.
Yo, actually though, I'll say this. Since the last time that we've done this, I feel like
which was literally 7 months ago.
Not 7 months ago. We probably November.
Okay. Yep. November.
Yeah,
no, it was November.
It might have been October, November. We've had some valleys and peaks. We've been able to put 1 foot outside, 1.5 foot outside, come back inside for a little bit, go back outside again.
Now we outside.
Been to a few concerts. Speaking of concerts in that time, I went to go see Larry June in concert. That shit was fire.
In New York, right?
In New York.
How'd you feel like that was? It was your first time ever seeing him after he opened for Stiz, right?
That was since that
2019, 18.
Whenever Monda or whatever that tour.
I think it was 2018.
Yeah,
so Larry June opened up for Cousin Stiz on the
tour.
Monda tour in 2018. So to see him now 2022 selling out Irving Plaza.
Yeah, he's doing 2,000 person
Come on,
rooms.
King.
to me, it was fire. Like, we kind of had this conversation in a design meeting recently, which I thought, I don't know, like, we were just talking about, like, concerts in general. And I used Larry June as a reference point. It's like, it was dope to go to a Larry June concert and be like, oh, like, this people in here actually look like me. Where a lot of times you go to concerts and it's like, it don't really be the people of our complexion.
We went to the Conway show, right? In Boston.
Yeah, where Hill and Ave.
Hill and Ave performed. I actually went to the Hill and Ave concert, not to the Conway show.
No, you did not see 1 minute of Conway.
No, I left way before Conway. But not, like, no disrespect Conway. It was just Hill and Ave really set the bar for me.
Fact.
I was satisfied with their performance and needed to go after that. Also, their audience isn't my fave.
Yo, I'm not going front. Like, concerts can be really, really weird sometimes because, like, if you think about it, you have like some concerts that you go to where it's like, all right, I'm gonna stand around for 6 hours and then this person's gonna come out and just
yell at me.
Yeah, just yell. But I really appreciate a show that's like tightly run.
Best show I've seen in a long time, Kaytranada. I would honestly, like, I get how people like follow tours. Like, I would go see Kaytranada in every city. It felt like a party. It felt so, like, energetic. Obviously, it was, like, a DJ set / it was more of a DJ set. He didn't really, like, perform on the mic, but it was so good. The audience felt really well balanced in terms of, like, lots of women and men and, like, all different types of people. And it just felt really good. It felt like a really open, warm, amazing place.
You know what's fire? What I always think about...
Kaytranada for mayor.
What I always think about is fire with somebody like a Kaytranada that I think a lot of people kind of overlook is that he's a black DJ touring, doing them types of rooms, doing festivals. Like, that shit is unheard of.
Shouts to Haiti.
Yeah, like, that shit, like, if you really put in perspective, like, like, you've seen, like, the Calvin Harrises, Alicio,
Avicii,
like, all them, like, they really
I don't know anything about Avicii except when they went to URI.
I don't know. I just know that
they did a tour. I don't even
probably
know.
But
who
like,
doesn't know me? So,
like, they've played a lot. Like, those DJs have the opportunity to go on those type of tours.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know. Like, I look at Kaytranada, it's like, yo, he kind of is setting a new path forward for what it means to be a black DJ. Also, really dope producer.
Amazing music.
But as a DJ, like, it's fire to. I feel like it gives you like a new. It's like, oh shit, like, this is a space that I could.
This is possible for me. No, I'm definitely trying to see Kaytra more. And
I seen him twice in 1 year.
Yeah, we did see him twice. We saw him in Chicago in the Soho House Room, which was like 100 people. Yeah. So to see him at House of Blues?
Yeah, House
of Blues in Boston was really dope. Who else did we see recently? Oh, we saw Baby Keem.
Baby Keem. That's how we got to the conversation
about concerts.
They're
just not always ban white men from concerts. Yeah. Generally. What else was there?
We had 9 years of Stay Silent. That wasn't a concert, but that was a movie.
But it was a movie.
You feel me? Yeah, you remember when niggas was calling everything movies?
Then they were calling like
Schmovie.
Juvie, which is the Cape Verdean movie.
Schmovie, Zoovie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoovie is really intense.
I'm glad though that we're past that era of party promotion where like it's about to be a movie tonight.
Nah, I like that. I like Zoovie the most. I think we should bring that back.
All right.
Because it's both a zoo and a movie. It's a Zoovie.
So the last episode 7 that didn't get put out, we were talking about our gratitude and how happy we were about Stay Silent. And it was pre
9 year.
Pre 9 year. Now we're post 9 year, heading into 10.
Yeah.
How do you feel since 9 year?
Well, I definitely our 9 year anniversary party was December 12th. So it was a few months ago at this point. But during the actual
Was it on the actual anniversary?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it was Sunday. Yeah, it was.
That's fire.
I felt really good about. I think, one, it kind of restored the feeling. It was the first time we used Crib, the club that we own, as a pop-up space plus event space in that way. Like, we've never really had like a social party in the space, except for like the opening of the club.
Yeah, that was like more like cocktail hour-y or whatever.
So using the space like that kind of reminded me of like Earned Stripes trade in 2016 type days, where like people were just coming through and linking, talking. There was a lot of people that I really respect that popped out for us.
You gave a crazy speech.
I gave a little speech. I held you in a chokehold the entire speech.
Big fact.
And I think it was really dope. Like I feel like that felt like a celebration of 9 years, which was nice because I think in previous years, we've done a lot of like work around the date. So whether that be like throwing, I don't know. It felt like we had the team in place that we could actually also enjoy the day as like a celebration. So shouts again to the team always, Ray and Big J, Umberto, all the bartending staff.
The whole squad. Yeah, I feel like you got to be like your whole squad. That way it's like
everybody.
It's all encompassing.
Design team.
You know what I'm saying?
But nah, I felt really good. How did you feel?
I thought that, like, one, I just think is very important to celebrate. Like, you know, admittedly, like, I'm kind of, I mean, I grew up, like, I ain't have no birthday parties growing up. Like, once I got to, like, 10, like, it's like, all right, like, cool, right? So I kind of, you know, like, when it comes to, like, celebrations and stuff like that, like, I'm more, like, reserved. Like, I'm not, like, pressed to...
You don't have a birthday dinner?
Yeah, like I don't have a birthday week. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have a birthday week.
I don't have a birthday week. But I think like kind of coming out like, or I won't say coming out the pandemic, but being through the early stages of the pandemic, it kind of made me like really appreciate more what we've built with Stay Silent. And I always, you know, like for me, like whenever we have the 9 year, whatever celebration, not even just 9 year, but whenever we've had the celebrations, whether it was at Trade or wherever the hell else we've done them before, those are always the moments I slow down and I'm able to talk to people who come to our events because a lot of times I'm DJing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have like a one-to-one connection with people all the time unless I'm at like another function or something, right? That's not ours. So like, you know, like people, they was, you know, saying like a lot of like really, really nice stuff to, you know what I mean? Like stuff to me about like Stay Silent and thank you for what y'all have built and done. And, you know, those be the moments where I really realize like, I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know, like this has some crazy level of impact on people's lives outside of this just being a party. And, you know, like I said, like when I'm DJing, it's like, I feel the energy of people, but it's different when they like, you know, like they telling you like, oh, like
face to face, making a point to let you know.
Yeah, you know, like they really don't have to do that. Like I remember even this wasn't at the 9 year party, but recently I went to a radio show and like one of the girls that was on the radio show, she was saying like, oh, I was raised on Stay Silent parties. You know what I'm saying? So it was like. It was just kind of, it's always crazy to hear
and
that.
she meant that because she's like 22 right now.
Yeah.
So like since she turned 18,
yeah,
you know, she's been in the thick of Stay Silent parties.
So it's so for
which
me,
is so crazy.
It's interesting because like I think you get to 9 years, leading into 10 years, I think about it in the sense of like, yo, you know, there's like a generation of people who kind of who built and grew with this, and I think whenever we do the parties is like the celebrations or whatever, like the anniversaries, it's a culmination of all of those people coming together. Like you see people who, they might not come to a party all the time anymore, who are early Stay Silent people. You know, they got other things going on in life, family, whatever. But then you see like them mixing and mingling with like the people who are like at every single event. And it's like, you really get to see like how far what we've done has spanned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a dope event, and it felt really good. Like P and Diamond spun. It was just like really dope.
It was crazy too to see like one photo in particular that I love from that event was like the photo with like all the DJs. I don't know. I just thought it was, it was like it's dope to feel it and see that. You know?
Yeah, the community that's really grown alongside us, which I'm really grateful for. So if you popped out for 9 years, we appreciate you. If you sent us a message or hit us, or if you've been a part of any of the parties in the last 9 years, like shouts to y'all. Thank you so much for coming through. And including in that, shouts to Ayana from Love Is Blind on Netflix for coming to a day trail.
I gotta tap in with a.
Do you think I don't know if you'd rock with it.
I don't know.
It's funny. I mean, it's like the premise of the show is you date somebody through a wall. And
like a glory hole?
No, Jay.
Kidding.
Jay, Jesus. We hope you're listening to this like not on speaker.
Yeah, what are they? I just found out what the NSFW means. I always thought it was like it's not safe for work, but I always thought it was like somebody was gonna be naked when you open that. So I just never opened that stuff.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, not safe for work.
For work, like as in not safe to watch us around your boss?
Like in an open set. Yeah. I had no idea.
You in general, both of us in general are NSFW.
In fact,
I will say some wild things.
That's why we ain't we don't have I can't say we don't have jobs because
this is a whole ass job. I'd be tired. This is a job.
Big fact. But I always realized that's one reflection of 9 years is holy shit, we really been figuring this the fuck out where I haven't had to go to a job where I can dress like this.
Yeah, I'm speaking.
I appreciate that.
A panel next week, and I was like, again, make it a point to wear kicks and all that, so that I can remind. It's an alumni panel from URI, so it was just one of those notes of if I'm on this, I need to
you gotta be
my full self, so that I can. Because I remember being an undergrad and being like, I'm gonna have to buy bad shoes from H&M in order to get a job. And, coming full circle and not having to split my wardrobe and think about what fake professional looks like for me. And again, that's just for me. I think individually, it always felt like I had to buy into what professionalism was, and recognizing that no, I'm a whole professional and it doesn't have to look one way has been a really big growth point.
I feel like that shit, a lot of that has come full circle. A lot of the conversations that when we was in college, of what work looked like and being professional looked like, now I think it's interesting. You've seen even in the last 2 or 3 years, how people are talking about just quote unquote being their authentic self and all these different ideas and concepts. It's interesting to see that I don't know, now it's even if what setting you're working in, people are wanting to be able to just be to be them.
And that's I think a big part of it is the work from home shift and all the things that happened throughout the pandemic.
Jay,
another acronym.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Home.
I didn't know.
WFH.
I didn't know what the hell that meant either.
Well, now you do.
But back to this Netflix thing.
Okay, so basically you're dating somebody through a regular wall. Right. Enclosed wall, no holes in wall. And on the other side of the wall, you are trying to get to a point where you propose, whoever proposes.
And how many weeks? Or is this days?
I think it's 13 days.
Do you go out to eat with this person in the sun?
No, Jay, you don't see them.
No. Break this.
Okay, I'm on one side of the wall and you're on the other side of the wall. And we have just an intercom.
So we just whisper to each other?
No, talking. Regular volume. And asking questions. You can send stuff to the other side. So they'll be like, I sent you tacos today. So you don't see them.
But you still get to eat
you can eat.
Yeah. Because
you can eat, but you don't see them.
But do you eat with them?
Yes, on the other side of the wall. What do you get from that?
No. That is very important.
To be able to eat with them, but there's a wall in between.
Nah, because I feel you gotta make sure that y'all are on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
How are you on the same page? You're not even in the same room.
All right. Hypothetically, you're on this show.
Yeah,
right?
with a wall, bro.
All right. With the wall,
yes.
Right? And you get past this 13 days. You like this person.
No, you have to marry them.
No, I'm saying you get past the 13 days. You like them or whatever.
Yeah, you're engaged.
Yeah. And then the first time y'all link up to go eat or go do something, you just y'all not.
But that's how that's gonna happen. Me eating tacos on my side of the wall, and you eating tacos on your side of the wall.
But what if they're I don't
like tacos.
Or I don't. You know what I mean?
And then it's damn, if tacos was a deal breaker, we probably shouldn't be getting married.
Fact.
No.
But also maybe if you going on a show to find love in 13 days.
Well, so then the next phase is they go on a group honeymoon or a group.
So they don't know who. Oh no, this is like once they like.
So okay, basically their group. Yo, this is such a caveat, but I feel like we really need to go into this. So Love is Blind. It's like, say it's 7 dudes, 7 women. They're speed dating everybody.
Got you.
And then throughout the like first few days, they're starting to like set, okay, this person's like my favorite or this person's my favorite. And they start to like narrow it down and tell each other like, hey, I just want you to know like you're one of my favorites, or like I've really been liking talking to you. And then by the end, it's like they've kind of lock in on one person. There are some people who lock in on nobody.
All behind the wall.
Yes, never see each other. Just off of voice. They do like they do try to give some like physical descriptors, but you know.
So you better hope you have, you know how they be like, you have a face for the radio.
Well, they're hoping, the point of it is to like remove the pressures and remove the part of a relationship that is physical as like the first part, and seeing if like if you establish a deeper intellectual relationship, will it like last?
Do they do reunion episodes?
So what happens after that is after they do those speed dating and once they propose, they're able to see each other once. So they like have a big reveal and they like run down this hallway. And then after the reveal, they go back into their silos. So they like know that they've met each other, whatever. Then they go on, after that phase, they go to a honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And it's all of the participants in the show. So that's when it gets a little crazy, because they're like at a mixer and it's like, oh shit, that was my number 2 or that was my number 1. But I didn't end up, now I got a fiance here and the fiance lived with you. Everybody lived together. It's like crazy. So then
copy.
After that, they go and they live together for X amount of weeks in a new space. So they like set up an apartment. Well, actually, season 1, they lived in different apartments, but season 2, they move into each other's houses because they thought it was important for me to like see how you live.
Copy.
And then they have a wedding, and at the wedding, they either say yes or no.
At the wedding?
At the wedding.
Yo, this show, it's kind of OD.
Yeah, it is OD. But DK works for some people.
Yeah. We'll see.
Out of 7, if 1 works, that's a high probability out here.
7?
1 in 7? It's a hot song every 10 years average.
Yeah, what was the counter we said before? Like,
I didn't say it.
How long would it take you to mention Jay-Z on this episode?
Yeah, it's been like 20 minutes.
Or reference Jay-Z.
22 minutes.
22
twos.
All right.
Anywho.
Let me ask you this, because one thing though, like since like,
yo, also if you've watched this, sound off. Let us know how you feel. I really rock with it.
I'm gonna have to tap in. I'm not gonna front though. Even
you are not gonna watch this shit.
That's me. Like yeah.
I'm gonna tap in.
I'm a peep. But right now I do have a lot of TV to catch up on, including Genius on Netflix.
You didn't watch it?
I'm like on episode 2.
How are you on episode 2?
I've been living life. All
right, sorry.
But I gotta catch Snowfall's back. I'm like 3 episodes behind on that shit. Like,
wait, so you didn't watch Genius? You watch it?
I'm 1.5 in.
So we can't even talk about Genius.
No, we can talk. I lived through Genius. Come on.
Okay.
You know,
Jay invented documentaries.
I'm just saying, we literally lived.
No,
like,
we did.
All that stuff they was showing, like we lived through that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
You know?
College Dropout. I was not in college yet, but I was applying to colleges.
Middle school, high school.
Oh.
Middle school, high school. It was like,
no, I was in college. I was in high school.
Yeah, like that. I remember when College Dropout came out. Like, yo, that shit really, it changed the whole perspective. Like, I'm just saying this, just being black, right? Yo, before that, it's like, yo, this is like prime G Unit, Dipset, all that, right? So for us, I feel like a lot of, like, our reference point in music was like, oh, like, you got to be a gangster, 50 Cent, like all that, like that. That was the height of that, right? And then, in all reality, is like, yo, even though we may come from environments where we understand what they're talking about, not everybody is living like that. So for me, I felt like when College Dropout came out, it was like that's how we were. The things that he's rapping about, the things that he's talking about, even how he's dressing, all that stuff. Like, it just gave us a whole new like
perspective,
perspective, or even just be like, yo, like we can be this
Weren't
too.
you tapped in with like Little Brother and like
That's
Talib
after
Kweli?
That's all after that.
Talib was not after.
But you gotta.
Quality was before.
No,
Black on Both Sides was before.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Kanye brought that to the forefront for us because.
I know, but for you, because I was listening to.
Yeah, but I'm
Talib before I was listening to Ye.
Not me, like.
But how? Because Umberto.
But you gotta.
It makes sense for me.
You have to remember, like my reference point at that time is Cameron, Dipset, Rockefeller, Rough Riders. Like that was.
You know who was listening to Fontaine?
But that's I'm telling you, like Little Brother wasn't until like junior year of high school.
It doesn't feel like that because we'll do some maths. Rue, can you please look up when
Little Brother, the Minstrel Show, or The Listening?
Yes, came out. Thank you. And then also alongside College Dropout. I'm just saying, I think that obviously he became the premier artist of any genre. So,
and he was flyer than
them
niggas.
Was fly. Yeah.
Okay, so for Little Brother, it's September 13th, 2005.
05.
Yep.
And what year was the other one?
College Dropout.
And that was my sophomore year.
And Minstrel Show was what year?
2005.
Interesting.
College Dropout, 2004.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I don't
Can
know.
you see when Quality came out? Was it 02?
Because Get By, we were in middle school.
Quality by Talib Kweli. And then Black on Both Sides.
Uh,
All amazing albums, by the way.
but for me,
If you like College Dropout, you should peep.
but I'll say for me, like that College Dropout opened.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
College Dropout opened the door for that to even be relevant.
Yeah, to
me.
be mainstream and
Like-
yeah, that makes sense.
Like like for me, it was like before that, Come Home With Me was like my Bible.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's true.
like so I
They
don't
didn't
know.
have no fresh clothes.
Yeah, like Come Home With Me.
House had asbestos.
Come Home With Me was my Bible. Diplomatic Immunity was my Bible. Blueprint, Stillmatic, like
No.
that's really, like. But I just feel like Kanye brought a whole different.
Black
energy.
on Both Sides was 99.
Yeah, but I'm
No,
telling.
I'm just saying, wow.
Yeah, like
I mean, I definitely was tapped in.
yeah, like for me, that just wasn't.
Yeah, it was me and Tyree in class, excited.
Yeah, like,
Shouts to Tyree.
you're supposed to link with him after this too.
But yeah, I do. But I 100%. I'm not downplaying. I was just wondering, as an individual, if like you felt like that really was the thing that ushered in, and obviously generationally, Ye and College Dropout 1,000% ushered in like the made it acceptable, cool, fly, all of those things to like be this bigger perspective.
Because like the way I put it was like if you think about back to school shopping, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you were
Like-
getting the G Unit wife beaters.
Oh, never.
And then you got a pink polo and popped the collar.
Never popped the collar. but like when you really like look back at that time, it was like, you might go out and be like, yo, Ma, I want the 5X white tee.
You had them.
I didn't have the 5X white tee. I
had
had
the
the 2X.
Two, okay.
My mom wasn't really letting, you know what I mean? Like she's like, yo,
Your pants didn't sag and you had a 2X white tee.
that looks crazy. Like, yo, that looks crazy. Or it's like, you dress in one way to leave the house, and then when you get out the house, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm throwing this on. But it was like, yo, when the Kanye came with even just the whole, not even just musically, the style.
Yeah, you
like-
bought Lacoste
like-
back.
Like it was like, damn, like this, you know what I mean? Like this is really what we're on. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
So I just felt like that time was so interesting. So for me, being at where I'm at in the documentary, like,
Which, if everybody else, that things go crazy after the point where Jay's at.
so like I'm at like whatever. I say I watched one and a half, right?
Yeah.
Like it was, to me, it was so dope to watch like part one because it shows, like it really, really shows what that, like what I just talked about, like what that time was, like you seeing how people's dressed and how people's, like they really, like now that is normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. At that time, you watch that, you're like, yo, like it doesn't even, like it, if you didn't live that, it doesn't seem real. Like it doesn't seem, and even like, we'll always be like, yo, you gotta stay crazy, you gotta stay crazy. I'm like, yo, like this dude really, really believed in himself that
Beyond
much.
a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. It was really inspirational to see him. It was also really inspirational to see like everyone else around him. It's crazy to think that like Diddy has been at the top of his shit since he was like 23. Yeah. Like that Pharrell really been in this music shit since forever. Fact. Like, you know, this is 25 years ago and or 20 years ago and they're the same, like they're at the same level of success or even just like mental state or maybe at the cusp of like cultural shifts like they've been then the same way that they are now, which is just insane to see. It was Pharrell with the tats, Pharrell, but it was still.
And yeah, that's crazy that he got like skin graft?
Yeah, skin graft
to get those removed.
And then I don't know. For me, it was definitely like inspirational also to see people that are like peers in the industry, like Wayno.
Fact.
In the scenes from the Rockefeller office, or just to see like more insight of, you know, Shaka from Rockefeller and kind of recognize like, you know, these people have really been pioneers of what hip hop is now and have been a part of like building the systems that have made hip hop the largest genre in the world, the, you know, culturally, in fashion, in music. It's just, and then for Ye to be, like you said, how as crazy as he was in the process of believing in himself, as steadfast as he was, and to recognize how powerful it is when you have other people who believe in you, like a Cootie, like his mother. When you're surrounded with just a few people who can hear your dreams and you're crazy and be like, if there's one thing about you, if you say you're gonna do it and I know it, and then be able to sit there and support you through it, like it really can make all the difference. Because as much as he was crazy and steadfast, it really wasn't alone.
And I say that when I like to reiterate when we say, at least when
Stay
I say
crazy,
when I say crazy or being crazy, I mean that in a positive way. Because
stay irrational in what you can achieve. Yeah, and not anything that has to do with like mental illness.
Mental illness.
Yeah.
But you saying like his mother, Cootie, like they were like just like the way that
it wasn't him alone. Like as much as he had a lot of naysayers or people who weren't maybe on the same page about what he could eventually achieve, he also had a few key people who were 100% dedicated to what he could achieve. And even like Rhyme Fest, even people like, you know, that were really there throughout the whole, and then in the third episode are still there in 2021 helping him write and being a part of production. Same thing with like a Cootie, like, you know, he quit his life to follow him around and make videos of him. And that was before there was a budget. That was before there was a plan. And not to say that, you know, it makes sense or doesn't make sense and that every person you invest in is going to turn out to be Kanye West. I think the point was Cootie believed in it and he wasn't looking for him to be what Kanye West is in 2022. He believed in what Kanye West was in 1999. And that's a lot of people are like, you need a friend like Cootie. You need someone. It's like, it's a double-sided thing. Like Kanye was working the way he was working. He was making things happen for himself. Cootie was able to document the work that was happening. Like without that effort, like you need a friend like Cootie, but Cootie needed Kanye. Like it wasn't gonna work if that wasn't the matchup. And I do think that I like Cootie was invested for what he was what was in front of him in the moment. And those like baby steps, they've turned into who they turned into. But I think it's really important to remember, like, it's easy to look 20 years in advance and be like, wow, everyone needs somebody like that. Yo, back then, that probably was not glamorous or fun or interesting, and it was still something that he was really dedicated to, and I think that's what makes it so special.
Something that's like to your point, what I think is interesting, like when you're saying, that's like Monday morning quarterback, like everybody looks like, oh, you could have did this, you could have did that, or you need a person like this. But for me, what was interesting, like even just in the parts that I've seen already, is that like you don't realize obviously the family tree of Rockefeller and everything that's come from that. But you think about it and you see like the way and the direction that the legacy of Kanye and the work as Kanye has brought to modern culture right now. Like, right. Yo, rest in peace, Virgil. It would be no Virgil, Louis Vuitton, any of that.
Don C, Jasper.
Fucking Fear of God.
Balmain.
But like
so many cross pollinations. Givenchy.
So like to me, like when I think about like when you look at that moment in time, like even like going back to the conversation where you, like earlier in the conversation where you saying like the Talibs, the Mos Defs, I feel it's like Ye really was like we said, like I'm the Gap, like Banana Republic and Old Navy. Like that's really what he did. It's like, yo, like I'm gonna show you that at every level of this rap shit is fly. Like it's like
he could have signed with
Raucous Records,
and it would have made sense.
Yeah, you know, like that's like one thing I thought it was really dope. He's like, yo, I am Rockefeller just as much as I am Raucous. And to me, like I think about it like, you know, it's something that I personally struggle with even a lot as like a DJ, right? Because it's like, yo, like I think about it in a sense where it's like, yeah, you know, I like playing in these types of spaces, but I like these type of spaces, or even just, you know, everyday life. And people's like, well, you kind of gotta pick one, or you gotta be this, or you gotta be that. And I think Kanye has continually shown that, yo, you can mingle and live in all of these spaces and perform at the highest,
be yourself,
perform at the highest level. Like to me, it's like, yo, it's ill. It's like, damn, this nigga worked with Beanie Siegel and Bon Iver in the same career.
Right.
Like that's like crazy,
right.
crazy.
And was pinnacle for both of them.
Fact, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, like I wanna finish watching it. To be honest, like obviously, like a lot of life has been like happening and stuff. So I haven't, like, I want to sit down and really like tap in and like be able to peep that. But Kanye, for me, is like one of those people, like, you know, at the beginning of the year or like whenever I need like that boost, like there's certain people that I just go watch them speak, and that puts me back in my zone. So it's like I'm kind of saving that, and like right now I'm really like on a high energy. You know, I have that life to live. So I'm kind of saving it for when it's like, oh, I need that spark or I need that fire. Because that's what I always do. Like, you know, like to me, I might like the interviews with like Zane Lowe. Like I go watch that and I'm like, yo, it's so crazy because I remember when these interviews came out and we laughed at him out the room. And everything he said he was going to do in them interviews, he did.
Yeah, and I also think like that the thing that is interesting about the Ye documentary is like it is super motivational to see somebody formulate a vision with no, like you're taking steps with no staircase. It's like I'm gonna just keep walking.
But that's vision.
No, that is vision. And but I will say if you're looking for motivation, you're on the right episodes. See, episode 3 is a culmination / bringing it to 2022, and a lot of that for me. I think there's a general agreement across everything that like episode 1 and episode 2 were really slow paced and covered a smaller amount of time. And it was when Cootie was really with him. And then the last episode is, you know, there's like a 7-year gap where it's literally just like a montage for 1 minute. And then them rekindling, and obviously a lot of where Ye has been in the last like 4 or 5 years. And so it's a full breadth story of like major success, mental health issues, like being in the spotlight, death, grief. So it's not that last episode is definitely a different pace than the first 2.
But
so just a note.
I guess like a question that I would have, because I like obviously I always see like the banter around like Kanye, his antics, and like everything that's like going on in and around him. And from I mean, I guess it's more of like a rhetorical question, right? Like I'm not really asking, but it's like, well, what do we expect? Like it's like, yo, you've given maybe everything that you've had to give in a, you know, like you've been at a high, doing that, whatever you're doing at a high level since 2004. You've been in the spotlight. You've been involved with all different type of people. You lost your mom, all this. We see this in real time, right? And a lot of us
became a parent.
Yeah, a lot of us live through this. It's like we can't even do some regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Like day to day, just living. And it's like these people, not just Kanye. Like you think about Jay-Z, Beyonce, all these people. It's like, yo, they living under the public scrutiny of everybody for decades. So it's like, you know, I understand that, you know, these people, like, we're not always going to agree with where they are right now or what they've done, but what do we expect? Like, they've literally traded their life to give us this stuff. So it's like, what do we expect from these people?
Yeah, I think all celebrity culture, all icon culture, also just like finding your own heroes. Like, it's not to say that it's only celebrity culture. Like, I think with or without celebrity, Kanye would be a hero to many because of his art form and because of the ways that he's been able to communicate through art, fashion, music.
Fact.
But obviously adding celebrity culture to that does do something to us as individuals. And I think it's always a practice of remembering that people are human and like the flawed nature of human beings. So, you know, I think that's always something that I think about in Ye. You can see so many flaws and like in the way he handles situations. And then you also can see a lot of pain. You can also see a lot of grief, a lot of loneliness. So, I mean, I don't know exactly like which way to go or how to like there's no like finite answer about it, but I will say like he has been a hero to me and at different points. And I think like I've directly been majorly impacted by the things he's done and motivated by the things that he's done. And it's just insane for me sometimes to like sit back and really watch. And I know sometimes we have conversations that like, does the music really impact people? Does, you know, like, does what you listen to really change this? Or like, does what you wear really affect that? And it's like, for me individually, like I look back and I'm like, if Jay-Z didn't talk about starting Rockefeller by himself with his friends in this way, like bootstrapping it and, you know, just the way he spoke, I don't know if I would really.
It has an LOL bootstrapping.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, right?
I sold 99 bricks.
Yeah. Bootstrapping. He did it his own way. Bootstrapping.
Bootstrapping.
But nah, like I feel like I don't know if I could really solidly be like, I would have taken the path I did. Like, granted, I had like my father definitely bootstrapped.
Fact.
Didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I think I got way more clarity in business development from Hove than I did from my dad. But like, I just think about when I watched the first 2 episodes of Genius, I'm like, this person has impacted me so much, whether it's directly, indirectly, like even just looking at the music he's made, I'm like, our company, Stay Silent, like has grown alongside this man's musical career. The amount, like even when Father Stretched My Hands and like Yeezus was out, just picturing like that summer's Day Trail and like how those
Aurora.
records hit. It's just like I've seen and felt like the movement of Can't Tell Me Nothing in space and like from college on. And I just can't imagine like what my life would really be like without Kanye's music across a lot of things.
I think it's really dope. Obviously like hearing that, like, yo, that's really, really dope. Because I think at least like a lot of the commentary I've seen around this, I guess like quote unquote like the legacy of Kanye or like what he's built already and kind of like what Genius has reminded people of is like, yo, like sometimes this shit it's a little complicated. It's
very
like
complicated.
Like, you know, like this stuff.
But he's definitely wild a lot.
Yeah, nah, fact. But that's what I'm saying is like, yo, as somebody who shifted culture in the way that he shifted, like I think like again, like, yo, we lived through a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like for a lot of people, it's like, yo, all right, like say you became a Kanye fan in 2008. Like you might not have seen, like you've seen Kanye kind of after the transition, and imagine since then how much he's changed culture.
Yeah.
But imagine it's like you lived before Kanye, and then you live in through and after Kanye. It's like yo, I don't think people understand like from dressing to how music sounds,
all
to
of his impact in other music,
to high fashion, technology, all this stuff, like the world
set design,
like yo, we went.
film.
Yo, I remember the other day I was talking with Hill about this. Right, we talking about Revel, the concert he did at Revel. It was like 3 days,
And that was in like 2011.
I don't know. It was like the first Donda.
It was 2011. It was the first Donda like presents show.
And Sabrina and I went to that concert, right? And Atlantic City, 3 days, crazy,
Insane.
crazy. And it's like look from that, hip hop concerts did not look like that before that.
No concerts.
Fact.
No concerts.
Yeah. I was being generous.
All genre. But that's the point. Like, that's the point.
So, like, when you look at it now, like, when you see Tyler, the Creator, doing a stadium tour and it looks the way it does, it's like, like, you see the remnants of this stuff all through it. And for me, like, I don't know, I guess, like, tying all this shit together, like, when you think about 9 Years to Stay Silent, watching, like, some of these retrospective, like pieces, Virgil, like, we're like a few months from Virgil, like, passing, is like, it's like sometimes, like, in the moment, like, when Virgil, and I've said this many a times, it's like, you see how people spoke on Virgil before he passed, right? But then you see all the things that Virgil left behind, from like his website to the physical products, like all these things that we live with and we can take from. And now, we're a few months removed from Virgil passing, and you seeing, like, now more products coming out, and you seeing some of the sentiments coming back, and it really makes me think about, like,
what product? I don't know.
Like he just dropped, like, they're about to drop some blazers
from Nike that he designed.
That he designed, and
Under
like
the 10.
I don't know if it's under,
Okay.
but it's like under the Virgil Abloh umbrella,
Yeah.
right? And so like for me, I see people's commentary like the same thing. It was like, all right, like when he did the fitted with the holes in it, and how people react to these things is like, like sometimes it's bigger than just like one or two products. It's like, this impact that even Virgil has left behind in the time of what he's done is like, that's what's important. Like, like, I don't know, I'm not saying all of us, but for me, it's just a reminder that it's like, all these things that you put out into the world, like, this shit matters, though. Mm-hmm. Like, there's people like who's never gonna meet Kanye. Like, we never met Kanye a day in our lives, and you said like how it's impacted our business and the trajectory of some of the things we've done, the attention to detail. Boom, you see somebody like a Virgil who comes through under that umbrella, and the impact that he's had on design in our lives and all of these things, right? So I think about this, and like, that's, for me, that's like what I'm just always reminded of, is like, we're not gonna like every single thing along the way. Shit, sometimes we're not even gonna fully agree with these people and what they do, but how can I take a step back and learn from what they've put into the world, negative or positive? Mm-hmm. How does that inform the decisions that I make?
Yeah. And that's, I think, the whole point of legacy, is like to remember that, it is about what the culmination of all of your efforts are, or what the lens through which you did everything through was. And I think, like, when I look at somebody like Virgil, he talked always about experimentation, about imperfection, about process being the most important part of things. Even when we saw him speak at RISD, which I feel so lucky to have been able to do, like, Crazy. He lived less than 50 years, and like all of the things he was able to do in design, and just like, again, this is just somebody who, like, how you make the Jordan 1 better. Or how did you make the Jordan 1 your own? Yeah. Like, that's something that, like, culturally is insane. Like, to even think that somebody could do that.
Other sneakers, too.
Yeah. And then, but when you look at, like, you made the Chicago 1 your own. A kid from Chicago that, came up under Ye, all those things. Like, that's stuff that, it's not lost on me. Like, just, again, that nuance is so important. And also, as an individual, not to get lost in, like, what I would look at as like general conversation or general response on the internet and in like social spaces. I'm not personally having those types of conversations, but like when I'm talking to people about the impact of Virgil, people usually aren't talking crazy about him in my life.
Now, I'll say for me personally, like, even before Virgil died,
no, I remember
I would have a lot of conversation with people. I'm just like, just off the strength of Virgil being black and doing what he's done, like, you have to be careful how you talk about these people amongst people who are not your own. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For me, like,
I completely understand. I agree with that.
Like, it would be a lot of conversations. It's like, like, I remember actually like 2 weeks before he passed away, having this conversation with some people, and I'm like, like, for me, I don't gotta like every single thing he's done. I just respect what he's put into
Right.
the
And
world.
that's not what we are not creating for the masses to like every moment of everything. And we want to talk about the masses. Virgil is performing for the masses. Kanye is performing for the masses. I can't even make that happen on a 150 person scale where 150 people might all agree. That's not a thing. So like I hope that if anything, like instead of critique again, I will always say like I pray we have more curiosity. Like because if Virgil was in front of any of these people, they would have nothing but praise. And I would hope if they don't have praise, they would have questions. Like ask him why he made certain decisions. Ask him why he put them holes in that fitted. Like, you know, I don't know. Like I feel like
I definitely would ask him.
Yeah, and that's like I think that that's good and healthy, and I believe that people who are really creating from a space of like experimentation and innovation and just trying some shit would answer that question. Like, and one thing I fucking love about Virgil is like, yo, you want to talk ready to wear high fashion? Like, yo, there's been a lot of runway shows from Louis Vuitton that I looked at and I was like, where does somebody wear a cape? I've never needed a cape, but you know what? I need a hoodie. Or you know what? I want a hoodie. Like, I just think about some of this stuff and I'm like, we downplay so much of the things that are part of our essentials, our daily life.
When he said the T-shirt, like, remember like when they did like the T-shirt, like I'm like paraphrasing, but it's like to him, like the T-shirt was like the illest canvas. Like it was like, cause yo, he loved T-shirts because that's what we wear every day. Like you're saying, a hoodie, that's what we wear every day. And like, even I guess going back to like, but I keep like talking about the style of like, even like talking about like Genius and all that shit. It's like, for me, it's so interesting. And it's even like through a line when you're saying like to being professional, like I feel like these are people who have had a level of impact in changing that to give us the confidence to think that stuff. Cause like when I'm watching episode 1 of Genius, right? And you see fucking they went Fat Farm, Rockaware, bag, like all this shit. I'm like, yo,
DJ Clue,
yo,
out there looking crazy.
They got the baggy fitteds, all that, right?
Throwback jersey, baggy. I was like, what was going on right here?
I'm looking at this shit, and I'm like, yo, there was a time, even when we went to the club, we went to functions to go hear our music, and we couldn't even wear what we want to wear in the function. Yo, you can't wear them sneakers. You can't wear that shirt. You can't wear. It
literally had a picture of damn near Dame Dash at the door. It was like, don't dress like this on the way in.
And it's still, yo, like you gotta think about how crazy that is.
Yeah.
That like we always have to ask for permission to be in these spaces, to just be ourselves. Right. So to me, it's like that's what the culmination of all
that's the legacy of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Is like being able to be fully ourselves in all spaces.
And I think like when you talk about like Virgil, you talk about Kanye, to me, like I think like obviously like in a rap thing, like yeah, you look at the Jay-Z's, you look at the Nas's, the Camerons, the Wu-Tang, like whatever. It's like obviously I feel like they've always pushed maybe music, business forward, but in the way that Kanye specifically, Virgil have changed, Pharrell have changed culture, like not just black culture across the board is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, 100%. And we're really I feel really lucky to have been able to grow up through this era.
Yeah.
And see the real life impact of things and see like what the children of Ye and P are doing now. You know, it's like the boundaries that were pushed where it's like, oh, you can wear these colors or you can do, it's like now it's so much bigger than that. And that there's an awareness around like what fullness means is so much bigger than that. Now the splitting of like being able to be like, wow, I don't have to dress like that. I can also dress like this. That's like blown out the water. Like luckily we're in a place where it's like there are so many options. There are endless ways to be you. There's endless ways to be a hip hop artist. There's endless ways to be a person of color. There's endless ways to be black. Like, and I hope that, you know, that's something that I think is a part of this legacy of just like continuing to deepen what your full identity is. Like Virgil is somebody who like the more he spoke, the more I like really got to understand like his philosophy on things. I think the craziest part about him passing was just how many people he changed their lives by just speaking to them. Like just having conversations with other creatives, homies, people that he's met throughout the years, giving a word of advice, pushing somebody, remembering an idea that they had and being like, yo, I hope I see that to fruition. Like having people who are, he just impacted so many people just on that tip. That was everybody posting the screenshots of like the messages he said, because yo, when you get a message from somebody who's able to perform at that level, who bets on themselves in that way, it does feel like, oh shit, like this is miraculous in some way, that you see something in me and like, look what you've been able to do on this earth. So I just hope that like it continues to grow. And I said it in our first version of this episode a few months ago, but like
V1,
what Salehi had said about Virgil, like it's just insane to see the impact he's having currently and what he's been able to do. And just again, furthering these designs, working with certain brands, just having, you know, just deepening the skew of what things look like right now. And the way he spoke about Virgil, and Virgil spoke that way about Ye, and Ye spoke that way about Dame and Hove, and Hove spoke that way about
it. To me, it's funny because it's, when you think about these things, like these people, like I think about these people like how I view New York, right? Like New York, to me, why I think New York will always be the illest place in the world, or at least growing up, that why I thought is like, because everybody's just being. Like, it's like, yo, you got all these different type of people all living on top of each other, and they have to mix. Like, it's not about, it's like, oh, like, you like this, I like this. Like, even you think about, like, how hip-hop came together. It's like Jamaicans, African-Americans, Puerto Ricans, yo, we all, you know what I mean?
we're outside.
Yeah, we outside. We, you know, now we got this new culture. And I think right now in the time that we living in, you know, it's very easy. You know, it's a lot of shit, whatever. You turn on the TV, you turn on Instagram, whatever. Like,
Turn on Instagram.
yeah, like you
turn on it, the Instagram.
Yeah, you turn on Instagram, you like you see what's going on in the world. And it's very easy to be like, nah, I'm just over here.
Siloed.
And to me, it's like when I even think about like what you said about the screenshots with like Virgil, it's like, yo, you know, this is a nigga who got a collection with Louis Vuitton.
Well, the creative director of Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, creative director of Louis Vuitton.
Collections with Nike,
but is also working with fucking West Side Gun. Yeah. Also, you know what I mean? Like, to me,
we'll do a cover of like a Pop Smoke project.
Like, that's
before it meant something like that, or DJs a function for 150 people because his homie hit him to do that.
And that's what this shit is about. Like, when we talk about like pushing this shit forward, for me, that's like what I'm reminded of. It's like, yo, that's what this shit is about. It's like, you're never too big because of who you are to do something. As long as you feel that shit, it's like, yo, do that.
And that's exactly what everyone said about Virgil. They were like, how he made the time, I'll never know. Like, how he had the time. And I think it was as simple as, like, the words were enough. Like, his presence was enough. If he could swing it, he would. And I think that says so much about somebody. Just, like, if they can squeeze it, make the work stretch, make a week stretch, make an hour stretch. Feeling really like, again, just always inspired by them. And I hope that, like, you know, this conversation also just reminds me, like, what do I want my legacy to be? What do you want your legacy to be? What do we want Stay Silent's legacy to be? Like, these are just good things to, like, marinate on. And everyone who's listening, like, to think about legacy. What are we, like, what is extracted from the work that you do every day? What's extracted from your words, from your relationships? If it all came down to it, like, what would you say it was? And I don't know. I'm still building mine. I don't know.
We just got to live and let them figure that out.
Yeah. But intention's super important. Yeah. Like, living with intention is, at the end of the day, sowing the seeds for that legacy.
Fact.
So, yeah. I mean, like, wow.
Hits blunt. Thank you.
Word. Well, I feel like that's a good note to send the people off till whenever the next time we talk to y'all is.
We'll be back soon. I feel like, you know, we speak up when we got something to say, not just to talk. No,
fact. And then we have our teams growing. Shouts to Imani and Momo
in the building.
So we're hoping to, you know, keep on coming, keep on moving. Shouts to Soul to Soul. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, word. Well, y'all can peep all the past episodes of Stay Silent Public Radio over on our SoundCloud.
No.
Where are they, Jay?
Spotify.
Oh, they're on
Apple
Spotify and Apple
Music.
Music.
No, not
Apple
Apple
Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. This is not on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
My bad. All of Jay's mixes are on SoundCloud, though.
All on SoundCloud.
And you can follow us on social media.
But you know actually what is on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Like when we did the radio, like this grew from like being like a radio show.
Now it's this podcast
Yeah, so
thing.
I don't know. We always like transform.
We're on everything, yo. Go to Spotify. We're not on Tidal anymore.
Nah.
Yeah. We're sorry, Hove. We're on Spotify. We're on SoundCloud, Instagram, the Twitters, at Stay Silent PVD.
Tap in.
What else was I about to say though? Playlists popping.
Yo, it's a lot of man. Just fucking pay attention, all right, man.
We also did a podcast together. Shouts to the Creative Capital Show.
Oh yeah, yep.
And our boy Jason. So we'll put a link to that in the.
Yeah, you always
somewhere.
be saying we gonna put.
We
the
do
link.
put the link. Rue puts the links. Well, I'm gonna comment the link.
Yeah, comment.
I'm gonna comment the link.
We've been making a lot of promises. I don't know if we kept good on some of them.
You can't put the link
I'll put the link in
the
the
description. That's what I was thinking.
I'll do that.
All right, word. Thank y'all.
Peace.
Bye.